Like any long-lasting franchise, Sonic is no stranger to its fair share of weird and awkward and uncomfortably dark secrets. In the first part of this list, we talked about dark secrets that spawned from hiccups or Easter eggs interjected in the series by Sega themselves, and even some dark Hedgehog-themed creations spawned by the fandom. This time around though, we're gonna dive into a few Sonic secrets that have to do with the development of the games, and some more that stem from the fandom. So get prepared to be surprised and a little grossed out, with our list of the top 10 darkest Sonic secrets part 2. In at number 10, Uncollectibles. Let's start off this list with a bit of a tease. Did you know that some of the earlier Sonic game instruction manuals advertise items that players can't actually ever obtain? In the Sonic 1 manual, there is an image in which an extra life icon appears, except the image is from a bonus stage that exists in an unfinished area outside of what is actually playable. It can only be accessed through debug mode. In addition to that, the Game Gear manual for Sonic 2 mentions a pair of running boots that are supposed to be available in the first level, yet no one has ever been able to find them. Up next, number 9, Shadow and his guns. Less of a secret and more of a moment in Sonic history that Sega would prefer you'd forget, let's take a look at the solo game that Shadow received back in 2005, aptly titled Shadow the Hedgehog, and the reaction one particular part of that game got. After the character's debut in 2001 Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow rose to popularity. Instead of being killed off like initially intended, Sega sought out ways to take advantage of the newfound love for Sonic's new antagonistic doppelganger, so he got his own game. And the development team worked real hard to make it edgier than a normal Sonic game, further emphasizing the differences between the two hedgehogs. Unfortunately, this involved giving Shadow weapons that were guns, something that the Sonic franchise had never incorporated before, and the reactions were exactly as you'd imagine them to be. For example, Game Informer stated, I quote, "Not only is this new adult interpretation of Sonic painfully dumb, it's also ill-advised, and almost feels like a betrayal to longtime fans." The guns were also criticized for their poor integration into the game concerning mechanics, and a lack of a target lock-on or manual aim, combined with an ineffective auto-aim. Shadow wielding guns has remained a joke amongst the gaming community as one of the dumber inclusions in the franchise. Pretty easy to see why. Up next, number 8, reaction to Sonic Boom, and more specifically, the redesign. If you didn't think that the reaction to Shadow whipping out machine guns was all that harsh, well, wait till you hear what people thought of Sonic Boom. If you're unfamiliar with it, Sonic Boom is a spin-off franchise that included an animated show, comics, and 3 video games. When it was announced that Sonic & Co. were getting a bit of a makeover, fans were curious what that would involve. But when the character designs were released in February of 2014, the internet practically digitally vomited on them. People viciously, but hilariously, began making fun of the fact that Sonic was wearing weird bandages, that Knuckles looked like he was on steroids, and that Tails' head was the same height as Knuckles' crotch. The disproportionate limb sizes also caused quite the stir, and so the memes began to spread like wildfire. Poor Knuckles though, seems like he can never really catch a break. In at number 7, the Sonic fanfic. What would a mega successful franchise be without a dose of sexually heated fanfiction? Ah yes, Sonic is no stranger to being paired up with other characters in his universe. And of course, fans out there have written up quite the steamy stories, featuring him getting his freak on. This popular one in particular is called The Accident, Sonic and Amy's Mistake, you can see where this is going, and features the POV of multiple characters, along with sexually explicit descriptions of the two getting it on. There's condoms involved too. Safe sex. While Amy is a particular favorite, Sonic has been paired up with others, or has been the butt of a sexual furry joke in other pieces of fanfiction too. Speaking of others, in at number 6, the shipping of Sonic and Shadow. There is a massive sub-community out there who hardcore ship Shadow and Sonic. Take a look at this fan art. Sometimes referred to as Sonado, the speculation of this ship is due to the pair's love-hate relationship. Fans of the ship believe that Shadow is hiding his feelings for Sonic by being distant and cruel to him, while Sonic kills him with kindness. It's all out of love. That kind of love. And at number 5, UFOs. Moving back to development secrets, which may be a relief to some of you, let's take a look at another hidden piece of Sonic history from the very first game. The Sonic 1 beta had a pre-release phase in which footage captured of the game shows what appears to be UFOs in the sky of the Marble Zone. While the UFOs don't do much of anything except twirl around in the sky, turns out you can access them in the debug mode of the iOS Android version of the game. Kinda neat. Up next, number 4, Michael Jackson's credit in Sonic 3. So if you're a fan of this channel, you've probably heard about this fact in a few of our other videos. Back in the day, there was a rumor that Michael Jackson was responsible for the original soundtrack of Sonic 3. Fans had noted the musical similarities, yet in the credits, Jackson wasn't listed. Eventually, it came out that the King of Pop was responsible for the music, but various reasons have been given as to why he's not credited. This includes Sega not wanting his name on the project due to allegations that had surfaced in 1993 about Jackson and child sexual abuse. On the flip side of that, another reason was that Michael didn't think that the sound processing of the Sony Genesis was up to par, and the sound quality diminished his work. Therefore, he didn't want any mention of his name on the final product. In at number 3, Sonic Feeder fan art. You guys thought the gross stuff was done with. Well, we touched on a generalization of odd, disturbing, and sometimes sexually explicit Sonic fan art in our last list. There's a certain breed of fan art that we feel deserves a number of its own on this list. The Sonic Feeder fan art. What's a feeder, your sweet innocent mind may ask? Well, according to Urban Dictionary, a feeder is, I quote, usually a male who likes to encourage weight gain in his partner through the consumption of food. But hey, let's be fair. Women can be feeders too, I'm sure. As many of you may unfortunately know, Sonic has been endowed by many fetishes over the years, and the feeder community is no exception. While some images are more explicit than others, most contain an overweight Sonic, or another character from the Sonic canon with an oversized body. There is also quite the interest in pregnancy fan art within the Sonic community. But that's for a whole other video or number, or maybe just let's never talk about it ever again. Trauma. Up next, number 2, the Sonic Tell-All blog. Back in 2007, a blog post surfaced from someone who went by the name of JPEG and claimed to be someone who worked in the video game industry. He had been blogging since 2006, but it wasn't until this post that he became a bit infamous. So in this post, JPEG mentioned that he knew Sonic Team personally on a professional level, and discussed what he knew about and his lack of faith concerning the game Knight's Journey of Dreams, which was being worked on by Sonic Team at the time. The blog continued onwards to discuss Sonic Team and their overall internal troubles. One of the many things JPEG noted was this statement, I quote, "Sonic Team are a relic from a past age who have overstayed their welcome." He then goes on to say that, I quote, "They should be dissolved. It may already be too late for Knights, but for the good of the company's image, for the future of Sega's other prestigious IPs, and lastly for its iconic mascot, it needs to be done before they release another Sonic game, with a transforming evil Knight Sonic who looks like a werewolf and can stretch his arms out Dallasm style." Where does that sound familiar, eh? Note that this blog came out before that particular game did. So naturally, a month after it had been published, the blog was removed, with JPEG soon leaving the blog altogether. Readers managed to find an archived version of the post though, and it was revealed that this anonymous poster was in fact a Sega employee named Ben Andak, and most of what he claimed has since been confirmed. It just goes to show that there are a whole lot of issues over at Sega, and that their own staff are largely unhappy. Perhaps that's why we keep getting poor quality Sonic games. And lastly, in our number 1 spot, Sonic 3D Blast cheated the system. So if you think the internal workings of Sega are a bit questionable at best after our last number, this one really takes the cake in terms of what employees are willing to do, just to push out a Sonic game as quickly as possible. The game Sonic 3D Blast came out in 1996 for the Genesis, Saturn, and for Microsoft Windows, and after its release, a notorious rumor began circulating. If you hit the game cartridge, a secret level menu would appear. Turns out John Burns, the later founder of Traveler's Tales, worked on the game, and would hide error messages by turning what would normally appear as a glitch or a crash into a secret level screen. This meant that when games were tested in the mandatory certification process for each console, it would seem that these glitches were all part of the game, rather than being a bug that needed to be fixed. Yeah, sneaky. Talk about quality. There we have it, friends. How many of these little secrets did you already know about? Let us know in those comments below. If you dug this video, feel free to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And why not check out some of our other gaming vids, like the part 1 to this list, or our top 10 Sonic playlist. In the meantime, thanks for watching everyone. Catch you in the next one.